Okay, apologies for being a few minutes late. We discussed one item in closed session, the item number B. We took a vote and we discussed it and we'll vote for it during the open session. Item number A, we did not have time to discuss this. So we're going to go back into closed session after we finish open session. So you guys can all go home and sleep. Well, we can go back. So we reconvene to open session at 7:15 p.m. We go flex salute.
So we have our somebody to lead our flag salute.
Hi, I'm Elijah Booker. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we go to item number 6, recognitions. Item number A, OPA leads.
While I'm waiting for the slide, I need to
Right.
Yes. We wanted to share, we've shared a few times, but we began OPA Leads program this year. It's a leadership program. When we had about, I would say, it started to come to our attention in the summer that we had quite a few of our OPA professors who had finished an administrative program or were in the middle of starting an administrative program. And so after having some conversations, we decided to start a program called OPA Leads. In OPA Leads, our goal was to help really talk about some real deep leadership areas, I guess, in leadership. We talked about professional standards for educational leaders, had conversations and made sure that during the conversations, we were taking an OPA perspective to leadership in order to build capacity. We helped some of our teacher leaders to finish their programs, so some of their projects that they needed, we were able to get some insight into. We met each month, and from 4 to 5 o'clock every month, we had different topics. You can see the monthly topics up here. The first one was how to take the lead, initiating leadership opportunities as a teacher. So we define leadership, and no matter what your role, there are things that you can do to become a leader. We talked about school discipline and school law, including inclusion, special education. We had a session on budget and finance and how that works for administrative leaders. We talked about the accountability systems that we have as educational leaders. We shared and had some discussion on the California professional standards for educational leaders. It's a group of 6 different domains that, and that's how most administrators are evaluated, are against these professional standards put out by CDE. We had some really fun sessions too on preparing for the interview, and then practice questions was a lot of fun. I think that was the one we had a lot of interest in that one, I think. And then the last one was yesterday, and I thought it was really great. So, okay. And it was called Navigating Change and How to Lead Through the Change Cycle. You know, here at OPA, we have a lot of change happening. We're building a new middle school, people are moving, and really kind of looking at how to provide leadership and understand the process of dealing with change for those we serve. You can go to the next slide. I do have a little clip of the change cycle there, but it was a lot deeper than that, but you can kind of get an idea. So I do also want to share that our executive administrative team, supported by our site administrators, also attended these meetings. We had Rosa did a finance presentation. Trish was at almost every meeting, helped with a lot of the student services issues, legal issues. Eva did a great one when we were talking about interviews and paperwork and what does that look like. So it really was a team effort for all of our leadership team here at OPA to help support and build leadership in others. So we have a certificate as well as another little OPA Leads swag item, and we wanted to recognize our folks that are here. And they successfully completed the program. There are a few that are actually at AstroCamp, so they aren't able to get here. They're providing leadership there as we speak. So when I call you up, I'm going to give you your certificate, and then you'll find the swag. Awesome, thank you for your help. And then we're going to have you kind of stand up here so we can get a good picture. Okay, so our first completer of our OPA Leads program is Julia Soto. I promise it's apple cider, but there's a cute little box with your name on it. So Julia Soto is a wonderful 8th grade science teacher here at SOC. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes. Our next OPA Leads completer is Brian Reftine. A kinder teacher. He's taken on some leadership roles. You're going to stay up here if I have to talk about you. Okay. He's also taken some leadership roles during his time at OPA. When I first got here, he was really helping provide some administrative duties. He has also handled our 504s for SOC since I've been here, really trying to grow. And next year, am I allowed? I think I'm allowed to say at this point. Yes. So is going to continue to take leadership roles here at SOC. He will be an intervention specialist out of the classroom. And he also is helping me a lot with the rollout of science of reading, which is on both campuses as well. So he's, he's a trainer of trainer for Thinking Maps and our new writing program as well. So I've gone through several trainings for that. And did I miss anything? Okay, thank you. Next, we have Deirdre Divian. Deirdre, as you probably know, is our English learner, TOSA, and she works very closely with all of our families of our English learners. She almost single-handedly runs and administers our testing for our LPAP, which is an administrative role. She is serving this year as our summer school administrator and has been extremely helpful so far. We talk every day with Trish as well, setting up summer school. Next year, when we have the middle school, we really have talked to Deirdre about having supported all 3 schools and really taking on the coordinator kind of role of services and providing leadership that way. She's amazing. So Deirdre did. And I kept these were like in order. Here, sorry, other 2 are not here, but I will see their names too. And then our final OPA Leads candidate who is here is Heather Romey. Social studies teacher here. She, the last 2 summers that I've been here, has served as our summer school administrator. She will be going to the middle school teaching social studies, right? And I know you've had other leadership roles that I've missed.
Insurance.
Oh,
Years back.
okay, before I was here.
And she
So,
was our health program.
oh, that's right, yeah, that, which is actually a very active program at our campuses, which they do like after school tutoring. I get those emails almost every week that she sets up through the health program. So Heather Robbie. Leaders who are not here right now are Brittany Bainey. She's working in AstroCamp. She's an SOC 5th grade teacher. And she also runs the SST process. And then we have Carrie Radomski, and she is SOC 7th grade ELA teacher as well. Okay, should we bring all of you back up?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do we want to take a picture with them? This program was an experiment, but I was so proud of just the growth and conversation and everything that we've been able to do.
Glad you survived that experiment.
Yeah. Try not to get the shoot.
Take a picture.
They don't issue.
Yeah.
I would zoom in on ankles. Ankles up. Okay, so I'm doing ankles up. One, two, three. Maybe one, two, three. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're good.
Dr. Henry, what is preparing for the interview?
What we did, it ended up being two different sessions. The first one was the application process you had joined, reading the job
So you're able to
description.
become an administrator, is that?
Mhm,
Ah, okay.
mhm. Yes, okay.
Thank you, guys, thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you.
Don't get jobs elsewhere.
And then also we did a lot of, kind of sample interview questions that they might get.
Yeah, I just didn't know what the interview was for, but now I know it.
On interviews.
Thank you.
Actually
Actually,
gave them some bunko question and answers, you know, so.
yeah, so that they come, yeah.
We
Unless it's
all
in the school.
gathered our most creative questions we've ever heard. It was a fun day.
I was thinking the other way, you were giving these, terrible questions and lack of preparation.
They don't do well in other school interviews.
Oh, I see, I see. Oh, that's, yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, which we did not sound as their careers, we go item number 7, communicate for knowledge investment. Following my comment on the items listed on the agenda, we create a consent calendar presentation, discussion committee and action items. Do we have any community for knowledge investment items?
We do not.
Okay, then we will go into item number 8, items of consent. We're going to start just with item number 8 first, which is the minutes from the regular meeting of the OPA Board of Directors on April 18, 2023, and the special board meeting of the OPA Board of Directors on May 3rd, 2023. May I have a motion to approve item number 8A?
I make a motion to approve consent item A.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Agarwal. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
I
Any abstain?
abstain.
So Ms. Smith is abstaining because she was not there at the. Okay, we go to item number B, C, and D on the same item 8, items of consent. Item number B, approved agreement for Oxford Community Academy Middle School to participate in the El Dorado Charter Special Education Local Plan Area. SALPA. Approves item number C, approve the recommendation for expulsion of Oxford Community Academy South Orange County student. And item number D, personal report as listed below. And so it's recommended the Board of Directors approve consent items B through D. May I have a motion, please? Thank you, Ms. Smith. I'll second it. Any discussion? Any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, items all pass. Okay, we go to item number 9, items for presentation. We'll start with the school update. Mr. Wright.
Good evening, everybody.
Looks like we need to strike out Mr. Wright and add 2 new names.
Well, as always, as much as I love to come up and talk, it's always more fun to hear our students and as we talk about what's going on with students. We'll go to the next slide. This time I brought some of our ASB executive board. As you know, this is our last 8th grade executive board ever at OPSB. We're going to say ever for now. We've all done our last one ever, so I wanted to be able to recognize them. Our president, Audrey Matthews, who is not here, and Anastasia, I know, and I practice it too. Afromova. We have our treasurer, Latasha Lamb. Secretary Sophia Kim couldn't be here, and Director of Activities, Eva Madsen, as well as Damien Doan, our student rep, but our sports director, Elijah Booker, or as he goes by EJ to all of us. So I wanted to be able to bring them up and get them some face time in front of you and recognize their executive boards. They do so much for our school, so much for our students, and we're really going to miss them in high school. But like I said, it's not very often in your life you get to be the last of something that will ever be. So this is their last one. Really, to be in front of the board, because this is the last board meeting we present that before the end of school. So, go to the next slide. So some things happening. What is happening at SB right now? So in the last couple of months, we've had a lot of events and a lot of events coming up. So the first thing of what is happening at SB is our monthly meetings. We're in the month of May. And so Latasha, can you talk a little bit about what we do in the month of May?
So in the month of May, we focus on a specific character trait, which is going to be moral courage for this month. So we asked the students out of some of these words and some moral courage as in one student said like, oh, if one of your friends is doing it, you stand up to it, you just don't go along with it. We also do patriotic and spirit songs of the month, or we have different ones for each month. This month we did America the Beautiful and Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, which seems we also do these things called multiple intelligences a month. Multiple intelligences, or we try them to MIs, are basically different ways that we use to learn in the classroom. Like we like to learn visually, or we like to learn using songs or mathematically. And so we've been focusing on spatial or visual learning this month. And we also do PBIS focuses, which are just like three Bs, 3 ways to be respectful, responsible, and safe in different areas of the school. This month we were doing like working with others and collaborating. And lastly, our gig icon of the month, which is a specific trait you would use in learning in any subject, would be rules. So these are like rules and guidelines you use in math, for example, formulas when you're using algebras. And like in ELA, you have certain classifications for words that you would use in practice.
As much as I love coming to present to the board, but before I came here tonight, I actually got to be at our first performance of Kinder Circus. This is our first year bringing Kinder Circus back, I think, in 3 or 4 years. So we had a performance this morning. Now we had an evening performance for parents. We had about 135 parents there this evening in our hall, completely packed. Can you show you one about Kinder Circus?
So, it was a kind of, I can see, because my brother was in Kinder Circus, and we kind of are ecstatic to bring back Kinder Circus back to SB, because seeing my brother doing it and then not seeing anybody else doing it for 4 years is kind of like the big effect on the kids. So I believe that it's
And, I mean, Kinder Circus is, I am this apparently we're not on camera, but I've always been told I have a face for radio. So, Kinder Circus is really one of those iconic OPA things that we do that, each of our grade levels doing performances, and to have that back, it's really what makes OPA, right? So, like I said, this morning, half the school got to see Ms. Nakova's class, and the other half school gets to see insurance class tomorrow morning, and then a parent performance. Really excited to have it back, and like I said, another fantastic.
So the 6th grade Astro Camp is like the sort of camp they go to in. Sorry. So Astro Camp is kind of like an overnight science camp that 6th graders would go to. I remember that 7th graders also did it last year as well. Unfortunately, I was not sick, but they had, like, from what I knew, a ton of activities, great food. As you can see on there, like, I'm pretty sure the 6th graders are having a blast. And we'll definitely miss them on campus, but we hope that they're having fun right now and having a great experience to remember.
And so are the Astro camps combined campuses, or you do it separately?
Yeah, Astro Camp we do combine. So we're currently there with SOC, getting to know their.
It's great, right, Marcus? You're already putting that together.
It's perfect timing for coming together next year.
Thank you.
And so if you follow us on Instagram, I've been posting pictures throughout the day and information. I actually got these pictures this morning and put these into the presentation today. So they're really hot off the press, and the kids are having a great time. And it's always interesting when kids go on trips. What do they talk about? Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh, and the food, right? The food. So really, we've got to make sure whenever we go on these trips that we pick places that have quality food, because that's really what the kids are looking for. Next up for EJ, what do we got? Oh, okay. So kind of in the past couple weeks ago, we went to 5th grade science camp. So EJ can talk a little bit about our trip to Irvine Ranch.
So also my brother went to 5th grade science camp. He called and he said, "Oh, Mom, can I stay longer?" So from my understanding, it was a fun experience with 5th graders. As you can see, they had archery and zip line, and they had a bit of learning.
We always look for a bit of learning, right? Mix in with all the fun. And then next up, our second trimester awards.
So we have these awards for the second trimester of our school year, as you can tell. And it was held in person and over Zoom. So parents who couldn't attend live could also watch it from their phones and screens, which was awesome for parents who couldn't make it, you know. And students were able to be recognized not just in academic prowess, but in also like for their achievements in PE, music, art. So it was a really good way to recognize and encourage students to keep on going above and beyond, and just to realize that, oh, it's not all about math, ELA, and science grades. There are also other ways to get awards too.
We just kind of add on to that too, you know, as rough as it was during the pandemic, one of the things we took away from the pandemic is all this technology integration. So to be able to broadcast our trimester awards, you know, as a parent that doesn't get to make it to a lot of my kids' awards things, I wish their school would broadcast them, because as I'm here with all of our kids, like I would like to be able to see myself. So it's really, you know, thank you to Amy and her whole team for getting this all set up, because being able to live stream this stuff for parents, working parents, I've heard so many compliments from families saying, you know, I know I can't be there, but I'm so glad that I tune in to work and be able to watch my kids. So just one of those amazing things. We'll be doing it again for third trimester awards in 2 weeks. Yeah. And then our second grade board break.
So this board breaking ceremony is when our second graders, they work on their taekwondo, either like the quad or the hall, and they've been working on it for a very long time, and they have been, I guess, awarded with a ceremony where they get to show off what they've learned from that whole year. And again, my brother did this. And yes, they get to learn how to be disciplined and not to be afraid.
If I didn't say it before, Latasha and EJ are OG, started in second grade at SP. They're part of our
How many
first
boards have
group.
you guys voted? Like 3?
You just got through 3 years before.
Second, third,
Second, third, fourth.
Second, third, and fourth.
Yeah. Yeah, they got through them all. Then the pandemic is a little later for them. Well, you know, the great thing about our board break is, you know, every once in a while we have a kid that first time doesn't get it broken, and to see that perseverance, right? That's you know, the taekwondo stuff is fun, and making, you know, little bits of wood fly all over the place is fun. But really seeing our kids persevere, if they don't break it that first time, right? Because at the end, every student's able to break the board, and they stick with it, and that's really the point of the board breaking. It's not just about blocking and punching and breaking boards. It's really about that perseverance. Once again, it's nobody else does that, right? This is such an open thing and an open tradition. And something that as the doctor was saying, it's not just about math and English and science, right? It's learning things outside. So as much as they love CASP testing and we're begging me to talk about, how much fun they had with CASP testing, I said, no, it's okay. I will talk about it. They relinquished, so thank you guys. I appreciate that. We're just finishing up our testing. We all know how important our testing sessions are. We have activities every morning, students out there running across the grass, playing music, getting them excited for testing, or as excited for testing as you can make it, any kid. But really, our kids put everything. It is amazing to go into classes and watch them. We still got some kids making up tests, but we'll be done with that by the end of next week. And I anticipate our scores to be even better than they were last year. Because, like I said, our kids really take these to heart, and our families take them to heart. They really do give their best efforts. Once again, that is another great thing about OPA. Right? A lot of schools you go to and kids rush through and don't, it's just a test, it doesn't mean anything. Well, it does. It means something to us as staff, it means something to us as an organization. So we appreciate all of our students for taking that to heart. All right, so big things coming up. First things coming up, and I'm going to take this part. A lot of important things. Probably the most important thing coming up that everyone's going to see here is our Memorial Day 4-day week. Right? The thing that everybody is looking forward to is that. And we've only got about, after that, I think we have 21 days left this week. 21, 22 days. And so look at all the events we have coming up in just the next couple of weeks. So we're super excited. That music showcase, a Mandarin field trip, majors coming up, 13 college performance, that's our 5th grade, spring concert, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for 2nd grade, field day, 3rd trimester awards, kindergarten promotion, and finally, 8th grade promotion in our last phase. But before that happens, we have a lot of events coming for our 8th graders. So in our last slide, I'm going to let DJ and Natasha talk about this because they're probably the only people that can see this because they're young and they have good eyes. So.
I guess on the 7th, we have our 8th grade family alumni. Panel.
And on the 9th, we have our field day for local school, and which we are also organizing a carnival too. ASP is also organizing a carnival on field day for students to enjoy. And we also have our staff versus 8th grade kickball game.
Let's go staff. Let's go staff.
And yeah.
And then on the 12th, we have our Knott's field trip. And after our field trip, that night we have roll out the youth teachers.
We also have our promotion practice, which is like a little run through of our promotion ceremony at precisely 9:15 a.m. on May 14th. June 14th.
Also on June 14th, we have our 8th grade clap out at 3 p.m.
And we have our 8th grade dance from 5 to 7 p.m. on the 14th.
And then on the 15th, we have our kindergarten promotion.
Oh, you have your graduation.
2 p.m. and it's FDR at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints of Viejo.
And then one added there, and it should have just come out an hour and a half ago, is on June 1st, we are actually doing a special 8th grade trip to go whale watch.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that trip is coming June 1st. So they are just learning about that in the email I sent out not that long. Yes.
Can you explain the clap out? It's one of my favorite things, so.
Yeah, so the clap out is this thing for all the graduating 8th graders would just run around the school, and every class would come out in front of their classrooms and cheer them on and wave pom-poms in their face. until they get to the main stage outside, where all the classes gather and we just like celebrate give them just like a good farewell.
And once again, this is our last 8th grade promotion, our last 8th grade clap out. I'll be doing a lot of talking about last and finality, because like I said, it is a big deal. It is as big a deal as it is to be the first, right? The 7th graders next year will be the first 8th grade class, right? Promoting from middle school. It's also a big deal to be closing out the end of a 7 years we've been at SB. So you guys are the culminating. We're proud of all of our 8th graders. We're excited to see them promote, and we're more excited to see what they become young adults and hopefully come back one day and become OPA professors. I think that, yes, so 15 more wake-ups until we get to promotion. Just kidding, I'll be about that.
Any comments or questions? Good luck in high school. Go make us proud.
Thank you, everybody.
Do a clap out for the 8th graders.
Kindergarten, so like you said, most.
No, it's 5th grade. 5th grade is the name of
Okay, thank you. Thanks again for coming. Appreciate it, guys. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think this is a great place to do all of these things now. Let's pull up it.
I watched CJ strain to see that screen. I brought hope. So we had our first middle school staff meeting this past Friday, and it was really an opportunity to see who else was in the room, let the whole team see who was going to be joining us, and it was great. We spent just over an hour together, and we played 20 questions, and the questions I received were surprising, pleasantly so. I knew I'd get questions about, what's happening with who, what's this going to be, where are we going with this. But I also received questions like, what was your proudest moment as a parent? What was your toughest moment as a principal? And what kind of animal would you be if you could be any animal? You could see that little guy just the one I could.
that little guy.
That little guy right there.
The warrior.
That is an American wolf.
It doesn't matter very long.
And they have a bad rep, don't worry. But if you read any Native American mythology, that sort of thing, they're really kind of interesting. Our new dean
When do
was
we get
not,
to the extended passage?
our new dean was not able to be present, but I will be taking her over to visit both campuses as soon as she is officially installed, hopefully in early June before everyone's out for the summer.
You guys should meet for Is that when she gets?
And I've said it before, and I will say it again, 16 years as a principal, I've hired a lot of people, worked with hundreds of teachers. I'm excited for this team. They are rock solid. We're going to do some great stuff. Go ahead to the next slide. Don't get upset or panic. That is not the urn. That is a time capsule. It kind of looks like one. The ASB classes at both campuses right now are working to survey the 6th and 7th graders to determine what should be included in the time capsule that Blueberry will be dedicated on the middle school. Of course, we'll have pictures of each grade level students and the teachers, but there's room for a lot more. So we are going straight to the kids to ask them what they would like to include and what they will see when they open this in their 25 or 50 years. Is it 25 years?
Yeah, 50 years old.
I don't think I'm going to be around to see that, but we'll get a good selection of materials to let everybody know what we were about. The dedication date has not been set yet, but we are looking for ceremony complete in June. Athletics program at OCCSL. Yesterday, Coach Barton and I went to the Orange County Charter School Week meeting and sort of inserted ourselves. We are now joining Orange County Charter School League. And initially, the league was started by, I believe it was 5 or 6 schools. You've probably heard of some of them. Vista Heritage, Santiago Charter Middle School, Magnolia Science Academy, Semwali Academy, Community Groups. They now have 12 schools, including us, that will be competing. And they're going to form the 12 schools into 2 conferences. And we'll begin competition like this next year.
Congratulations.
Competitions will include boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer, cross country, flag football, and volleyball. So it's gonna be fun.
I missed it by this much.
You can still put on the page alumni games.
Yeah, I love that game. Oh, yeah. Or your brother.
Jimmy, you come back.
Do you think I'll watch your brother?
Next slide. Middle school town hall number 5. It's hard to believe that we're already at number 5, but it will be held in person this Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Saddleback Valley. And it will also be broadcast, of course, as a webinar. The main points for this town hall are to provide an overview of the elective selection process, which Dr. Kernan has brilliantly pulled together and has some instructional videos for them. It will also be updates on our athletics program, accelerated courses, staffing, and the timeline for master schedule development. And probably one of the most important things is the remaining time we'll use for Q&A to see if we can answer any remaining questions. That's what you got already. What's next? Selection of students electives. The current portal will be open for elective selection on this Friday, May 26th. The mascot essay winners luncheon has been moved to early June because we had so many things going on this month, including testing. Master schedule development should be finalized in June. Dedication of the time capsule that I mentioned. The dedication and the interment of the time capsules should take place in June. And we will continue to prepare for the opening. It's going to start moving very, very exciting. Any questions?
For the sports league, what sports do you think will be the ones that are being focused on?
In the league itself,
Well, for OPA, what teams? Like what sports?
we will have all of them. We're going to compete in every one of those sports.
Like, can you highlight them?
Oh, yeah.
Soccer, it'll be soccer. The ones that are, the competitions that occur within this league, volleyball, basketball, soccer, cross country, flag football.
Soccer.
Yeah. I think I got this.
Boys and.
Boys and girls. I think the only co-ed sports, cross country and possibly flag football, depends upon numbers. But flag football, girls flag football is a growing sport right now. So my hope is that we get both. The more kids we have competing, the better. And of course, we will also run cheer. And there is actually talk about competition within this league. So that's exciting as well.
Just quickly, could you give us a sense of where we are with the honor society, middle school honor society? How far along are we? Do you need any help with spreading the word?
We need 3 positions. We've had a number of volunteers, but we still need a president, vice president, and a financial officer. So if you have any ability to convince some people, and I know it's hard, everybody's working through this year, and there's a lot going on, but those are the positions we still need to really get things rolling, establish our accounts, and all that sort of.
And then in terms of hiring staff for the electives that you are hoping for, I assume that because the first year you may not have had every single position of teacher that you wanted for every single elective you're looking for. How far along you are? Do you think by next year you'll be where you want to be in terms of all the electives you want to get? I know staffing could be an issue, right?
I think we would be.
So we can deliver on all the electives that we wanted to do. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think that'll be important at the town hall, so I like that, because I
Just
think.
finishing up on one more. Oh, we are pretty close to being
Okay,
done,
that's good.
and other than that, we have all already done.
It's good.
So I will feedback on this question. When are you going to share who are actually the middle school teachers?
That's a great question. Information will probably come out during the summer to our families as we're updating them, letting them know what's going on. When we open up areas so that they see schedules, kids will definitely get an idea of what we want to do, an introduction for everyone. And of course, we're going to do professors.
Those traditions.
Absolutely.
And then the website, and then are we gonna do it, are we gonna hire somebody to do it, middle school website, is that?
It's already up and running, so,
All the FAQs on
all the FAQs are on there, and John's been posting, news on the front page, so if you are a new middle school family, a great resource for you is to go on that, middle school page, because John posts all of the, information, news, all of that. It's been up for probably about a month and a half, the website.
A little while.
Yeah, it's been a
And it's
while.
been developed.
And Spy told me is that you close on the meeting, like it's just not very good, right? I know you were still making the offer, it has to be approved.
Yeah, by us.
So approved. You guys, yeah, that'll be all.
I mean, like the consent calendar. not like the-
I know.
That'll be the day we have to start. Please.
Any other questions? If we're not done, looking forward to hear from you every single board meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. Curriculum and instructional paper.
We go to the next slide.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Brickley shared a little bit that we had differentiated professional learning on Friday. It was our last, I'd say, formal professional learning of the school year. This Friday is obviously a holiday. The next Friday, we're doing, HR will be doing a presentation. And then, the following Friday, we allow teachers to have some time to, finish grades or do whatever they need to do to prepare for the closing of the school year. But this time it was very interesting. We had iReady, which is the company, come out and share with our K-1 teachers about changes to the curriculum, which we're really excited because they're supporting a lot of the other initiatives you'll see here. Ms. Lukaroff met with the Scholar Academy, that's our team for students that support students with disabilities. I met with all the elementary teachers in grades 2 through 5. We talked about initiatives for next year. We really kind of circled back to make sure that everyone's kind of prepared and no one's surprised by some of the things, initiatives, and also areas of focus. And Mr. Brickley then met with the middle school teachers. I shared this last meeting, but I did want to just keep it on this slide. I think it's important to know that you'll continue to hear us talk a lot about the science of reading. Which is a research-based way of teaching reading that California has adopted. It'll take them a few years to really get it in place, but our teachers are really excited. So we have 17 professors who are going to the academy by the California Department of Education this summer. It's the week after school's out. So they're giving up their time. We are compensating them, however, and providing materials, but to become further trained in this. In the science of reading, how we should be teaching our students how to read and also support them if there's any gaps. Next slide. Wanted to circle back with the capstone projects. Last meeting, I let you know that they were happening, that our capstone e-portfolios are happening, but I did want to share the 8th grade showcase. So the Academic Outcomes Committee, the vision for for the capstone project was that there's a showcase of learning with students lead OPA. Our first one will be, we're going to connect it to our VAPA STEAM night, which is a night where we have a lot of families here anyway, where students showcase their learning in either visual and performing arts or science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So June 1st will be the 8th grade showcase at SV, and June 6th will be the 8th grade showcase at SOC. The students are demonstrating their growth, the 6 Cs. What I met with all the 8th grade teachers, because this is our first one, what is this going to look like? And we decided on 2 different approaches depending on students' multiple intelligences and what they feel comfortable with. They will either be doing a videotape presentation, which will have a QR code. Families can see multiple different presentations, or there will be trifolds. I believe SV is doing a lot of trifolds, and then also portfolios. So they have different options with how they showcase their learning for the first time, but that will be happening up during the VAPA showcase. Next slide. Summer, full steam ahead. We are working with to build and putting together our full steam ahead. The invitations have been sent out based on iReady diagnostic scores. We are working on staffing. As I said earlier, Ms. Didion, who also completed the leads, is serving as our full steam ahead chancellor, and then Ms. Lutheroth is really taking the lead, and I'm transitioning that over to her. She also oversees the ESY program. So we've put it all in place. I do want to let you know, it's interesting, our enrollment will be lower than this year than last year's. Significantly so, and I think it really is things opening up, people going on vacation. We did offer a virtual learning option if we get it, the invitations that if we've had enough enrollment, and really there was only one grade level where we had enough for virtual to offer a class, but you know, we do have enough for full classes. We will have every grade level. Just give you the heads up that it's a little bit lower. We're looking at 150 to 200 students attending this year. We're doing, Ms. Didion has been making phone calls to make sure, but I do believe that we will have a very successful program even with those numbers. It'll be a little bit less in the classroom. We can focus more on targeted skills and enrichment. And then our Boys and Girls Club are planning weekly STEAM activities. All right, next slide. Speaking of virtual learning, we had a meeting for our OPA virtual learning program on May 9th. The recording is on the website. We have begun offering placement. Right now, our virtual learning program we are offering is K through 5, and we're looking at about 12 students per grade level, and it is becoming quite full. We did have quite a few middle school families when they applied that indicated they would be interested in virtual learning. So in about a week or so after final placements are made, we are going to send a form out to those families on the wait list if they would actually be interested in attending. Because I think sometimes our families will just check everything, but we want to make sure that to offer a middle school program that we have enough students to staff it correctly. Currently for the K through 5 program, we have 2 professors, one that's going to be doing K through 2, one 3 through 5. And then as we add more, if we're able to do that, we will add more staffing. The focus area of the parent night, just so that you're aware, was we really talked about the benefits of our program. I truly believe we have a high quality program. The schedule and the model is very unique. We talked about if a family is on the wait list, how does that impact them? And the bottom line is it does not. They will still, if they're on the wait list, they do not lose their number for a seat base if they attend the virtual learning. They just get the benefit of having OPA teachers, OPA curriculum, and if their spot does come up on the wait list, we help to facilitate with professors of both programs a seamless transition. And then also through the material revisions, and we talked about this at a past board meeting, that students that are enrolled in our virtual learning program would have a lottery preference, one of many different preferences for the 24-25 school year. Next slide. There's a lot going on. So wanted to share, as I was putting this together, there were a lot of things I didn't want to miss, but just to make sure I'm going quickly. As you heard from the presentations from our chancellors, almost every day there's another event or activity or performance. There's a lot happening. And there's other things that maybe haven't even shared that happened a few weeks ago, like our California Distinguished School Celebration and a lot of things. Our LCAPs are complete. They are currently being reviewed by OCBE. They let us know if there's Orange County Department of Education reviews our budget, as in the LCAP, all of our actions and services, make sure that we're not missing anything, gives us the go-ahead to bring it to the board, which we will be doing June 5th. We've been working on staffing for next year, a lot of interviews, a lot of conversations. We're looking at curriculum inventory with a little bit of growth, making sure everyone has what they need to start out the school year. I haven't mentioned in a while our MTSS, multi-tiered system of supports team, as well as our PBIS team. So I thought in one of the last ones of the school year, that to give them a little shout out. We did receive an MTSS grant last year that we currently are using. It's a 3-year grant. And so far we have had 10 staff members become MTSS certified with the state of California. It is a big deal. It's a 40-hour course. And we've had 10 finish and about 25 are maintenance in progress. And it really is building capacity to better support our students, getting same language. So really excited about that. We're updating our framework, and we're also planning to attend a conference this summer on the multi-tiered system of supports that's in Anaheim Convention Center. Our PBIS team has done an amazing job this year. We really were missing a lot of supports for kids that needed more. So that's your tier 2 students. So really tier 1 are things we provide for everyone, like the Blackwells, the scholarships, really is that positive instruction. But what happens if the student needs a little more? And then tier 3 is the student needs one-to-one support intensive. But that tier 2 is a little weak. Both schools developed a check-in, check-out system, which is research-based. It's a positive check-in, could be each day, could be each week, with a staff member they have a connection to. They get each teacher to sign off that they performed well in class, highlights of their day, and at the end of the day, they check out with that same staff member. Been so impressed by this. And they're also monitoring progress and pulling data to see improvement in students. And because of that, both of our schools have they're qualifying, and we put in for state PBIS recognition. So I hope to bring that back to you soon. I won't tell you what levels, but we did qualify to, because we didn't have enough awards this year, we had to add another award for each school, right? And then you heard about state testing. So we are at the last bit of state testing, doing makeups. Our sites have done a wonderful job. Ms. Lugroth and I supported state testing this year, and so kudos to you as well, Ms. Lugroth. It's been great. Next slide. Some things coming for next year. I did this presentation for the grades 2 through 5. These in much more detail, but I wanted to kind of just put them on your radar, that our MTSS team is really looking at implementing a more comprehensive assessment and monitoring plan, really for literacy and numeracy and how to catch gaps. And this was teacher created. So we're really happy to implement that next year and looking at the rollout. Next year, you'll see a lot in the elementaries with small group instruction. We're scheduling it into our day, into the teacher's master schedule. So let's say Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 to 9:45, all first grade teachers will run small groups. This allows Deirdre and her team, as well as intervention specialists, to either push into classrooms. If there's a group of first graders that need more intensive, they pull out. But every student in first grade is getting small group instruction, so no one misses direct instruction. No one misses electives, enrichment, it's research-based, and that was half of our training on March 17th at our PD day. And so we circled back and wanted to let you know that that's going to be happening at our schools. We're gonna have year 3 of our new writing program next year. You can see we did thinking maps this year, setting the stage and learning the structure, TK8. We implemented narrative writing, and next year we'll be implementing expository writing, informative writing, and response to text. And then finally, scope and sequence. We didn't really have a system for a scope and sequence across our schools, meaning all first graders, what do they cover, what do they do each trimester? So what units of study, what assessments? We're going to be taking those even further, so they developed them over the last 2 years, and now we're going to be adding power standards and also making sure our scope and sequence are aligned to that science of reading. A lot of work happening with that. We will continue to implement the champion profile capstone projects. Next slide. And then the last 2 slides are OPA leads. So you can pick those, we've already seen those. And that's what I have. Any questions for me?
Why are there so much numbers so much slower? Is it because we're progressing our kids through and they don't need the help, or is it just there's not interest? Is there a way to follow that?
Our numbers when we ran the data, it was similar, but we haven't had as many families that wanted to take advantage. I think we've had people that are on vacation. We're finally able, parents are feeling comfortable with doing that. That would be my main guess of why. We are reaching out with phone calls and making sure that also families understand that it's about skills and not necessarily about grades or poor performance, because a lot of our students may be straight A students, but maybe there's a skill as identified with their iReady assessment that they need to build on. So it allows us to do more targeted practice.
Is there a way to see how if our kids improve from?
Yes, so this is something we've been working on, and we hit like a little bump because just so they take their end of the year diagnostic, and let's say they're in first grade. The test, the data used to roll over, right? So then they would be taking in summer school the second grade diagnostic, which doesn't tell you if they've improved on first grade standards, because now they're working on second grade standards. So what we've done is we work with iReady. They're keeping the window open all through summer. So we will have the end of the year diagnostic that we're taking in June. And then there will be a pre and a post during the summer program based on their same grade level standards. So we should be able to really see if there's a progression of learning. I think a lot of it also is that there is less loss, learning loss over the summer. People will call it summer slide, other things. So maybe they're not necessarily gaining scores, but they're not losing traction either. That makes sense.
What, out of, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but you said that it was smaller this year, but like how many invitations did you have versus expected grades for summer school? Like was it 50%? Was it like
I ran the numbers. I think it was like maybe 360, something like that, invitations. But now we do allow the teachers to review it. We did kind of send a message though about qualifying, right? And not, if a student qualifies because they need to work on a certain skill, not pulling kids off the list because they have a high grade. There's a difference between performance as well as the diagnostic. So some kids work really hard. They get straight A's and they're on the B's list and they do a wonderful job. But maybe there's something with a reading skill or a mathematical skill that practice will help. So we really try to make sure they understand that it's like I have straight A's, why, right? So we're trying to send that message, so there were less students that were removed from the list. And we are working really hard to communicate. I love that you're just calling every family to see if they missed the email or, and if they want to make sure that they want to.
Whether they just understood what the program was and how it would benefit their students. Because some parents will see it as, well, I think it's as camp this summer or whatever, but really like, how it's that.
I am wondering, last year we had like the last minute, and I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I should love to do summer. So that could happen, and it could bring our numbers up a little bit higher. I don't want to count on that, but luckily when I do, probably within the next 2 days, I'm gonna finish communicating staffing to everyone. We have enough staff that expressed interest, and I will talk to them and say, at this point, you haven't been selected, but if I split the grade into 2 cohorts for, let's say, 3rd grade, then I'll add another. So I usually, and I tell them that in the very beginning, that there'll be probably a phase 1 and then a phase 2 of staffing, depending on the numbers.
And for your virtual program, it looks like we're gonna have about 70+ kids in it this coming year. Is it going to be split like budgetarily again the same way between SOC and SB, or are you creating a budget just for?
Well, right now, because right now with only K through 5, it will go with SB.
Okay, so it'll be attached to
Because
SB.
there's, the SE is smaller, and so they have a little bit more capacity as far as number of students, so it's easier to kind of attach them. Right now, we have it split, lower grades with SE and upper grades with SAT. If we were to have a middle school program, if we had enough interest, then we would, put that with the middle school. But for the younger grades, it's easier to keep them with one school because then the teachers aren't splitting grade books and the kids can attend activities on a particular school site. And if a parent has, say, a 5th grader and a 2nd grader, they don't have to attend some activities at SE and some activities at SSC, right? That's great. So that's why we decided, kind of looking at the 2 budgets, how it would impact the 2 budgets. And to just have those students over at SE, they have a smaller.
And this is a more common, we can talk about this offline, but PBIS, I wonder if there is a sister program for parents, because I'm very serious, meaning, you train the kids to be reinforced with positive behavior in school, but the parents don't apply those same techniques at home. I think there is a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Because most of us are used to not positive behavior reinforcement, but more so saying, if you do this, here's a consequence, right? Something for you to think about, and maybe you can advise us on
We
that.
do have, I know that both of our schools, one of their first chancellor chats really goes through the language of our PBIS.
I can give
program.
PBIS points, unfortunately. So,
Right.
yeah, you can do it.
But you can do something similar as
Yeah.
well. And then also we did talk with the PBIS team, and because those sites are going through these self-evaluation processes through the state, so PBIS is doing it because we applied for the awards. And then MTSS is part of the grant. Every 3 months, we have to do this very deep self-assessment of what are we missing, what can we do better. There have been a lot of conversations about the parent component. So although we
Just
do
think about it, yeah.
the chats, we're thinking about doing more with our parent education nights, more site-based, because we've been
Yeah.
partnering with a lot of schools, but also having some internal education parent nights as well. And on Zoom has been very helpful, and having the recording services that way. Also, we have a menu of options that families want to see that.
I think PBS is an incredible program. I'm just saying, you could extend it to, I think you're going to see so much better outcome in schools.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last bit is, you had a lot of great things on what to expect. For example, the small group instruction. When will you let parents know? Could you put it in one of these guys' chats before they go on some? This is exciting stuff.
It is.
And I guarantee you, 98% of the parents are not watching the presentation today. And so, yes, I feel that too. So I think that if you can, if you're going to say the community, it'll be great, or please put it in the Sunday scoops or whatever Chancellor Wrights calls this.
Weekly what?
So I honestly think that there are really cool programs in there that, like a small group instruction, I think is also fantastic. So if you can somehow showcase that. that'd be awesome.
Last year, what we did is, and I think it'll look different next year, but we did a parent presentation of all our core initiatives at Meet Your Professor. I was
Oh, yeah.
pulling parents in and I'm like, you want to know the core of what we do? And so,
This is a good time to also tell them, hey, it's exciting. Like, go on summer, come back and just, you're gonna have all of these new programs as well. You know, I think that'll be.
thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. We'll go to, Tom.
Evening, everyone. So, so the main focus on operations is facilities.
Shocker.
In addition, we're keeping all the other non-academic program areas, right? So go ahead. So we have in May, busy month, classroom furniture, that's on the agenda for you all to look through and review, approve tonight, you know, please. And then the SSP and SB, we have had one of 3 playground vendors out to work on repairs and replacements on both campuses right now. Fairly expensive to do that because of all the requirements and liabilities that to playground. SB, we're purchasing another shed. The other 2 campuses have sheds already. Outdoor improvements, we've been working with the Honor Society, particularly with SB. We received basketball hoops, backboards, and all that, which is actually in one of the storage pods. Okay, we have 2 storage pods now at each campus for all the materials that Dr. Henry has been purchasing for some grants, that grants passed. So we are really in storage mode to make sure everything's in the right place. So as an example, we're in middle school here, so we can just pick up the pod and move it to middle school. Okay, so we're trying to be smart about how we're doing this too. And the moving boxes, the staff is so excited to get their own moving boxes and their own Sharpie, so that before they leave, before the end of the school year, they'll be able to pack everything up. They're changing their transition classrooms or campuses. So that will be coming June 1st to the campuses. Prior to this week in May, some bigger things that happened. Mr. Pigu and I met with school architecture planning field firm, basically, and we expect to have some additional meetings to help us with some of the larger projects for the school. I've had on-site meetings with USD, large group of individuals there last week, with electrical, IT, vendors they have there. So we've had quite a lot of activity on the campus, still breaking it down yet. And on-site with Fresh Start as well. Our fencing estimator is out, landscape plan, landscape installer, all in the school. All right. This week we've had already Wake Forest, the traffic department, should be Wake Forest. That gentleman built some relationships there. We expect to have some conversations with SBUSD and the city of Wake Forest parking traffic enforcement to help us with crosswalks and crossing guards, signage, a lot of different things to talk about, as well as our parking. Then additionally, we have hindsight with the lockers. Oh, I have my locker. We have a CMAS contract that I'll be bringing to the board, I expect. It's about 600 lockers to be installed at the middle school campus. And we've got the gentleman, so the CMAS contract for that. We're going to start to see, we're going to start to see contracts, okay, in June, in rapid succession. Okay. Next slide. And that brings us to carpet. Carpet as well. We have the estimates for carpet for the middle school classroom already in hand, so we're bringing that as well. They're actually holding the carpet and pouring for us at this time because we're a customer and another So that's the relationship. We are sourcing out our furniture for middle school as well. Thank you. And then classroom furniture again, we'll talk about tonight. And some of the contracts in the process right now. To sheets on copiers, printers, we're almost at the end of our 39-month contract that we will approve way back when. So we're going to add copiers for new middle school. So we're going to look at, and I'll bring to you a new plan for that contract to incorporate the middle school and close order, short order, water stations for the students. Some of these contracts are going to be new, sometimes lead amendments to current contracts and subscription. Then a variety of items we're talking about. The new TK classrooms, as far as new kitchens, things, TKers. So we're Dr. Henry teachers for all that. Next slide. Finally, we do have $182,000 kitchen grant approved, waiting disbursement. That'll open our hatch at SOC here, our kitchen at SB, and that'll help support the school as well. We did have both our health inspections, always later at each school, so that happened just in the last 2 weeks. And then you can see their picture of our health inspection. This was a donated board that we have here at SOC. And then we do have an SOC parent whose business, they have some extra items, so they're donating to both schools essentially at the end of May. So that'll be, again, they're moving out of the space. So again, we have a storage issue. So we will figure it out like we always do. And that's great to have some things that are free, right? And then the next slide, I think, is just some other accomplishments, work in process. Jonathan and Nelson and Derek have been working on an IT antivirus, some software there, IT security, some phishing campaign software, as well as training for our staff. And we'll be looking at switches and some other things next time. Let me see, they've been supporting student testing a lot these last weeks. And then we have benefits open enrollment, which and HR will be telling you about how work is going into that. And then there was Almina who talked about budget planning, so work there. Thank you. Any questions?
So you don't have a date for when it's going to be the ground is broken?
Not yet, but we do.
We have a meeting next
week
with SUSD. Can I go over some of that logistics? Can we make sure that the middle school families are updated when that happens? Like, because I think the more we can give them regular updates, the more they're going to be
They'll be excited.
excited.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Even the stuff that you're getting, like the fact they're going to have the water stations and the things that use the furniture, the carpet.
Shows a
things like
lot of
that.
progress.
Yeah, it does. So and decor. Yes, decor is very important.
It is.
So when will they start more regular updates to the middle school? Like about this?
After you, John.
Okay. I think he is putting it, or we have been starting to kind of put it up on the website. We are doing the town hall, so I think it's a little confusing now because parents in the middle schools get updates from SSC and SB, and so we've been trying to kind of put some of the stuff in there instead of having a separate Sunday message coming out from the middle school. But I think definitely as we start kind of closing this year, especially like through the summer, then we'll start doing more updates directly to the middle school parents. Okay. Once they're not getting all of the information about their two first.
So after the 15 wake up days that
After the 15 wake up days, then we'll be able to kind of shift gears because then we can technically are, as soon as the last day of school happens here, then they become middle schoolers, and so then all those messages will start coming directly from the middle school instead of from SBNS. Okay.
So where will you store middle school furniture?
Say it again, maybe.
Where will you store the middle school furniture?
Well, the good thing in the summer is the classrooms are all in, right?
But we don't have a middle school campus.
And we do have 6 classrooms that are currently on the campus, that are permanent classrooms that we can store a lot of that middle school stuff in, which will make it much easier because they are right on the middle school campus, on the new middle school campus, and so it can be stored in there, and then we can just move them out as the new buildings come up.
And then the other thing.
So we plan that we can fit in all of this furniture, we find 200 something chairs and all of this.
Yes.
So it was 6 plus.
It's very much a time with the vendors, you can imagine, I'm asking them to send their invoices after July 1st, with the new budget year, right? And then to deliver, a lot of these vendors have been prepped as far as, okay, 1st of August, right? Put us on the calendar, on your schedule, right? Okay, there'll be a lot of work done.
And we can do a lot, like here at SOC in the meantime, and at.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about the elementary school.
So that we can then focus
Only
after
on
August 1st on.
So you're getting delivery only in August, not before then.
Yeah, and we do have vendors.
And they're separate invoices.
Oh, yeah.
So
They
we
haul
can.
into their warehouse.
Okay, that's
Oh,
what,
that's right.
that's what I want.
I'm
Maybe
pulling
the
in,
one like crazy late either.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
but.
I am pulling in.
Yes. Even though the bonus will after it's activated. Seems like.
The team's on vacation on 20th of July.
That's
Yes.
what I'm saying, right?
For 2 weeks. And
You
then-
can go camp out at the middle school, football, I mean, soccer, you know.
That's true.
Any other questions?
Can I ask for timeline of the middle school development, the information that's gonna be like posted on websites, going out to families? Is there a way to like have a key or something that clearly delineates pieces of the timeline that we have control over versus pieces of the timeline that are SBUSD dependent? So families are very aware, like, there's distinctions there, and things that are out of our control.
I think so, and I think after this next meeting with them, we'll have a
Yeah.
very clear idea of who's owning what. We have it obviously, but it's the timeline.
Yeah, but I think
People
we'll
have
have
our tracking data,
Yeah.
see things like, yeah.
They'll say, okay, this is tracking, you see, or we see building. Right?
Yeah, I think we'll have a lot more, like, kind of that more fine-tuned logistics information, after meeting next week, so that we
Especially
can
if
start.
things are not progressing as
Yeah.
intended, I feel like that information about why
Mhm.
or where the delays are coming from.
I read through the part that.
I think the part of this needs to be, the committees would have to pick up some slack right now and say, academic outcomes committee needs to be working with John and say, how are we doing in the school? And like, we probably need to pick up on starting to say, what should be the communication for, because you're doing some work outside this board meeting, really before. But I think the next few months, I think those two committees need to be.
We can talk more offline, I just need you to tell me more about, what you think, like, the communication plan helping
Yeah.
in the structure.
Yeah, so
Okay,
the communication plan, I think that's what we decided, that the strategy development committee would focus on communication and do the groundwork for communication and bring it to the board for full approval, so that way then we have work time, and similarly, for the academic side, all the electives and so on, I don't know if you guys are gonna do checklist profile, so maybe you may wanna decide like what if maybe you want to do, or if that's something. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Busy, very busy.
Finance will be approving several motions about the finance committee, so and I met with the finance committee yesterday. Discussion.
Right into it with the income statement, which reflects the actuals of April 2023. And you can see for the first time, we are presenting middle school financials. Very exciting to be sharing that now with three locations here. So up through April, middle school is currently operating at a negative $31,000. SB is currently operating at a negative $296,000. And SOC is operating at a positive $43,000. Very exciting there. First time we've seen a positive number there. All three schools are expected to end the year, as projected in the second interim. And, right now. So there's nothing major happening that we have not planned for, as it's shown on the second interim. About a week and a half ago, the governor released his May revised in the budget for the state of California. The May revised is an update to his previous January proposal, which he presented back in January. Again, this May revised is not the final budget for next year, but it is an update as to where he's made changes both in revenue and expenditures. So the May revised is what is being used for the preliminary budgets that will be presented to you guys next month for all the budgets for next year. So here we have the LCFF kind of chart here. The May revised includes an 8.22% COLA. So we have currently for the current year 22-23 what that baseline funding looks like and what it will look like if that COLA is included in the June budget. And then I'm also going to just talk about these two grants mentioned below. Both of these grants are one-time funding. The Arts, Music, and Instructional Materials Discretionary Block Grant, also known as the TTC grant. The governor is proposing to reduce this by 51% from what he originally proposed for the budget. So Dr. Henry previously presented a spending plan for this grant, and so we are spending accordingly, and all of that. The first about 49% we are spending in the current year, so we do not plan on spending any more money in the future years, and that will be reflected in the future years as well. So we've spent the money that we received this year, and we do not have any more next year, especially given that the government is reducing this money. Also, the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant is also being reduced by about 32% from what we originally proposed. And so, although we have received money this year for this grant, we have not spent any of it this year. So what will be approved in the June final budget is what we plan on spending next year, and that will also be reflected in next year. There are some other areas in the May revised that we did not affect with us, so it is not areas that we expect our budget planning for. And so as Mr. Kudu said, we did meet with finance meeting and all of the financial documents, information about conversations.
I think one of the things for the rest of the board is that the team started putting together in the school what a budget would look like. It's still very preliminary. That's why it's not there. It's going to be pick it up in June to share with the other schools. But just know that the team has done a lot of pre-work already. They're kind of working through funding assumptions and expenses, and the expenses for middle school obviously will be more because it's a startup here. But they showed us an initial version, but I think the better version will come in June. The second board meeting in June. First board. So in less than two.
Correct. And then you've been the LCAPs and all of the budgets will be presented for the hearing, for the review, and then they all will post it.
I have a quick question about the hands-on checklist. So I love all the PD that's going on and trips and seminars and things that we're attending. I was wondering, when we look at the hotel fees, it seem like they're kind of all over the place for the same period of time. Like, somewhere 800, somewhere 350. Is there?
So part of it is they are linked to the school sites. So, for example, and Henry's house there in board members is split into multiple campuses. So it's like 25% to SB and 5%. Additionally, some of the members attend an extra day or a short day.
And then this bus trip that's on there.
Yes.
Oh, it's great.
And that's like a super cheap, and that's a low. That's a super cheap
Well,
bus.
Chancellor writes it's a luxury bus, so I was like.
Get that.
Yeah, that's very close. Thank you. Excellent. We'll go to items for action. We have several on the agenda today, so. Item number A, approve registers. We have an April credit card register, April check register. Recommend the board of directors approve action items A, 1, 2, 3, may I have a motion, please?
Make motion.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jackson. Any discussion, any questions? Member Jackson, nobody has a question? Anybody else? Member Alaba had a. You had a lot of questions.
I did, I had two.
That's great.
And front back.
So, if there's no discussion, all those in favor?
Right.
Okay, we got item number B, approve Education Protection Act plans and resolutions. It's, I'll just, remember, EPA plan and resolution for OPA South Park Valley, EPA plan and resolution for OPA South Orange County, and EPA plan and resolution for OPA Middle School. EPA provides local education agencies with general purpose state aid funding pursuant to Section 36, Article 13 of California Constitution. EPA funding is a component of an LEA's total LCFF entitlement as calculated in the principal portion. All public schools are required to approve how funds received from the EPA are spent at an open public view. It's recommended that the board of directors approve action item B 1, 2, 3. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
And I believe you're spending all of the EPA money on teacher salaries. Just as a point of clarification. Any questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we go to item number C, approve the 2023-2024 bell schedules and instructional minutes. 2023-2024 bell schedules, instructional minutes for OPA South Park Valley, the same for SOC, the OPA SOC campus, and the same for OPA Middle School. For California Education Code 46200, 46208. Schools must provide minimum minutes of instructional time based on grade level. The proposed bell schedules and instructional minutes for each school site adhere to these minimum requirements. This is LCAP Board Action Code 1, Action 1. Recommend that the Board of Directors approve action item C 1 through 3. May I have a motion, please? Thank you very well. Seconded. Any questions or comments about this?
I do have two questions actually. Is SC and SOC have the same schedule?
And Adam, you guys have almost like
Yeah.
pretty much identical schedules this
Yeah,
year, so.
there's some great differences like in time, but for the most part, like,
It's the same.
yeah,
It's the
the length of times for
Yeah.
recess and stuff like that are exactly the same, but because of the number of classes we have, we're a little bit different on when different classes take different breaks.
Okay.
That's why Adams has a break schedule in
Mhm.
there, so you can put everything else other than that is identical. So then it's time for.
Okay. And then, I didn't see the master calendars in here. Are they gonna be presented another time?
The school calendar,
Yeah.
you approved those, back in.
And they're on the
And they're actually on the
website.
website. We posted on the website as soon
Under
as.
calendars, okay.
You guys approved those like almost a year in advance.
That's the one document my wife was at needed.
I know. And then the minutes, obviously are different for the middle school versus the SOC and SB campuses. And if I remember correctly from our last board meeting, there will be an opportunity for kids at SB to be dropped off at the same time as the middle schoolers so that it's easier on the parents. Is that correct?
Yes, with our new campus supervisors that we have at each one of our school sites.
Okay.
We'll have supervision out there at our elementary school sites when students get dropped off, so that parents don't have to drive back and forth.
Okay.
I'm glad you guys reduced instructional minutes to several grade levels.
Now that we've
So I was
pulled,
looking at the numbers, I'm like, wait.
yeah, now that we've pulled the middle school off of the campuses, middle school requires more minutes, and then certain grade levels are not here, we're not having to do this like as long as the middle school.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item number D, approve 2023-2024 OPA employee benefits package. The 2023-24 OPA employee benefits package includes medical, dental, vision, and life insurance policies, as well as optional ancillary benefit coverage. Capital Action 2, so Goal 2, Action 1, funding source for LCFF, and this year there will be a next year the budget of national fire will be 79,000. That's incremental. This will be reflected in the new budget that is following is shared with us next year. Recommend the board of directors approve action items. It's about, it sounds
It's in addition to
it's
what.
a $500 increase. Okay, please go ahead. I was gonna, sorry, I need to ask for a motion. I was gonna ask, is it a presentation that you help me out? Is recommend the board of directors approve action item D. May I have a motion, please? Member Smith, and I'll second it, and so we'll go to the discussion.
All right, so I'm presenting on the health benefits package. This is the time of the year, every year this happens. We start planning ahead of time, earlier in the calendar year, sometime in February, we start our communication and talks with our health benefits brokers. And they're going out there and they marketing, they, making sure that they're meeting with our health benefits providers, like Healthcare, Kaiser, and other ones, and then they come back to us and present their findings, what's out there in the market, options, for us to look at, if there's better options for us to provide to our employees. And so it's a process, and it takes a couple months for us to go through it. And then, we communicate with our employees. Obviously, we're going to have a meeting with open enrollment meeting on June 2nd, which is next Friday, where our brokers will be presenting to our employees in more depth. This presentation is more of a highlights. They'll be going into the depth of changes, new things that we have to offer, and any other details. And next slide, please. So currently, we have pretty actually benefit package, I may say, with our United Healthcare, we're able to provide our employees with 4 plans, 2 of them HMO, 1 PPO, 1 high deductible PPO. Kaiser has 2 plans, again, traditional HMO and high deductible HSA HMO. With dental, we also have 3 plans, so the PPO plans, 1 of them high deductible plan, and vision, just 1, which is PPO plan. And we provide to all our full-time employees life insurance up to more than $50,000, and as a no cost to our employees. And also we should not provide them with the colonial benefits, which is also package of different life insurance policies, which is optional, but it's always to have the options, right? Next slide, please. So this slide, it's a representation of past year, right? This 22-23 school year. So we, and this data was taken, because you have to kind of have a key point. This data was taken from March of 2023. At that time, we had about 143 total employees. 125 were full-time, and 18 employees were part-time. And we see a little bit of a breakdown percentage-wise, how many people sent up to Kaiser, 1 of the plans with Kaiser, and how many percent sent up to Healthcare, and how many percent waived their coverage because they didn't have response. And so going into a little bit of a depth, we usually try to plan ahead, right? We always conservatively budget for what if each, every one of our employees signs up for health benefits and they use all of our allowance. So that would be the number of full allowance. So based on 125 full-time and 18 part-time employees, we, our allowance would be $1,560,000. But we never spent all. Last year, 2023 school year, we spent 18% less. Again, because sometimes people use less of their allowance, and sometimes people waive. And we only plan cost less than children. So kind of fluctuates. It's kind of hard to, pinpoint certain numbers because they really fluctuate. People come, people leave, and they sign up, and benefits, or they wait for health benefits, and then qualifying event happens, throw their families, fees are important. Those things always constantly moving, right?
So can you explain what is the difference between plan costs and spend?
Plan cost is the amount of how much actually costs
Cost
Yeah.
who?
to organization. All
To
the
us.
plans, yes, all the plans that are, we send out. Right, this is the amount that it costs us. 101,245, that's what we actually spend based on our allowance. Because OPA as an organization capped it that we have the allowance, 11,500 full-time and 4,500 for part-time. We capped that, right?
So the employees spend 100,000 out of pocket, is that what it means?
This is-
approximately?
Approximately,
Okay,
yes.
got it.
Again, those numbers are very, very approximate, and, I work with our brokers to provide those numbers, so I have to
Okay.
trust that those
I understand.
numbers.
That's what I wanted to know. So we pay for employees $1.24 million. We were planning, we had an allowance up to 1.5, everybody had taken it in. But based on each of the individual caps, end of the day, the entire organization only used 1.25 million out of the 1.5. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
very much.
again, it's very, approximate.
Yeah, good.
If you move to this next slide, this is the slide that I'm excited to present. This is one looking in the future, right? So you see two columns there. We currently offer 11,500 annual allowance to our full-time employees and $4,500 to our part-time employees currently. Right? If you look at the first column, we are projecting for the upcoming school year with expansion and projected employees hires. We are projecting to have about 148 full-time employees and 21 part-time employees. Based on that number, if we stay at 11,500 and 4,500, then we would plan or project or budget for $1,796,500 to be allocated for health benefits. Again, grants that everybody signed up for it, grants that everybody used, right? We are proposing this year to raise that allowance. We're proposing to raise $500 for full-time employees, which is 4.35%, and $250 for part-time employees, which is 5.5%. And that would overall means that we are, raising our allowance of 4.4% across the organization, if you approve that proposal. And allowance is used for medical, dental, and vision coverages, and for full-time employees. And for part-time employees, it's used for to help them cover medical and dental costs. So here are our renewal recommendations. So we're going to spend all the time on our dental. But we'll start with Kaiser. So first, when we went out to bid, our brokers went out to bid. They came back with renewal numbers, which were for Kaiser about 7.2%. And for United Healthcare, it was about 14%. And this is a trend throughout the nation right now. We've collected, we spoke to many other brokers, not just our brokers, but others. This is the time when other brokers folks, reach out, they want to do business with us. So of course, we use that opportunity to learn what the market is like, what are they seeing, what's the trend. We also went, we also went to Cabo. Conference, and that's also provided with opportunities to speak actually in person with some of those brokerage firms, and they confirm, everything that we've learned so far. Now those renewals are pretty high because of COVID, because this is the time where those medical providers start catching up on those rates that were given in 2020, 2021. Those percentage increases were not as high. Now they're catching up, and it's going to be trend not just this year, next year, most likely the year after. So we'll continue seeing the higher numbers. But trying to, help mitigate that cost, mitigate that increase, we are proposing to raise that allowance, right? But then also we work with our health benefits providers, brokers, to see what other options we can, maybe substitute one plan with another.
maybe reduce some of the benefits of the plan, and, have it be less of a lesser rate, right? So we looked at many options, and we came up with substituting some of the plans. They're very similar to what we already had offered, but maybe hospital stay is not covered at $500, but covered at $250 or so. So kind of looking at those benefits where we can cut a little bit without causing too much burden on our employees, but also trying to see if we can reduce that rate. So we were successful, and for Kaiser, our overall rate increase is 5%, and for United Healthcare is 10.6% versus 7%. So moving on to the dental coverage, dental, vision, our ancillary benefits. We been partnering with MetLife for the last 2 years. However, it seems like MetLife customer service is not being very good this year. There have been many issues. There have been many issues that caused our employees trouble with their coverages that we had to fix, and it was very hard to work with them. So we looked at options.
I had lots of issues, but people were able to use it.
Yeah. So we looked at the options. Even though MetLife was trying to fix it by reducing our rate to 2%, we're able to find another vendor, Guardian, who is matching that 2% rate reduction. And Guardian are better known for dental, vision, and other ancillary. And they also have a technology on a level that can meet our needs, because we have a direct feed with our payroll system. And MetLife had a lot of issues with that aspect as well. There's a lot of manpower spent on this. So for organization, it's better for us to switch to Guardian and working with them. So that's why in this proposal you're seeing we are proposing for us to change the carriers for dental, vision, and voluntary life and other life insurances. And plus, we always look at our health benefits providers once in 3 years or so. We try to check what's better out there. So by the end of this change this year, we are changing dental, vision, and life. If next year, when we do more extensive search for our medical carriers, right? If we decide to switch, then it's not as much of a change all at once. The whole medical package to be revamped. We can focus on medical piece there. So I'm pretty excited for working with this already so far. Just by communicating, just by meeting and introducing it, it's already great. Next slide, please. So this is just, a few highlights again, what we already talked about, what we are proposing is new this upcoming year. A few adjustments to those plans, as I mentioned, introducing new options versus old options for the lower rate increase, replacing MetLife with Guardian, and increasing our annual benefit allowance for full-time employees to $12,000 and for part-time employees $4,750. Next slide, please. This is just a quick highlight of what additional benefits, optional additional benefits for our employees that are available. Through Colonial Life, our employees can sign up for short-term disability, accident, and all other health, all other insurances. We also, help our employees with pet insurance and pet wellness, just guiding them to the correct resource that can help them to set up that pet insurance if they choose to. And then we partner with Schools First Credit Union, and they have 4 wonderful plans, optional retirement plans that our employees can sign up for to supplement their first and service retirement service in addition to that. Next slide. And we also wanted to focus a little bit on mental health resources. We've been, with Kaiser and with United Healthcare, we've been partnering for a few years now, and we did collective analysis of what other mental health resources are available. It was provided, that information was available to our employees in COVID years, and is continuing to be available there. There are hotlines, there are different applications, there are different resources, and there are a few links there that employees can reach out and help. With Guardian, they have a wonderful mental resources as well as the assistance program that can help our employees with
educating them on, college planning, financial aid, in tax planning, or debt collection, or counseling how to work with debt. Resources to help with those, divorce, separation, or have addiction to drugs, alcohol. Those type of things are very important. So that's another highlight why I personally decided to switch to learning, because we have all this additional ways to perform with everything.
You did a wonderful job.
Sure did.
Yes, very well done. I like the infographics. But those are very small.
All right. There's no questions.
Okay. We do a,
Sorry, I don't have any questions, but I wanted to share. I have asked David to possibly look into like the timeline of when we make this decision as compared to possible salary increase decisions. So as a board, we could possibly, in the future, not for this go around, see what's being asked as a full compensation package increase versus getting them done as separate fees, not having that whole picture in mind when we make a decision once it's done. So just as that, we know the decisions or changes that I've just made that request to explore options.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion.
So sorry. That's my bedtime reminder.
oh,
Yeah.
So sad.
Because otherwise
thank you, Member Smith. Okay, there's no other questions then, all those in favor? Okay. Okay, we're going to item E, approve attendance and accounting job description. Attendance and accounting position is created to replace the data and support specialist in order to more accurately reflect current needs of the organization. LCAP goal 2, action 1. Recommend the board of directors approve action items, action item E. May I have a motion, please? Make a motion, and a second. Any discussion?
We talked about this a little bit in the finance committee meeting. Really, we have our current data and support specialist from the office manager, John over at the middle school. And now that we have 3 different registrars and kind of looking at our office managers, support as well. This role was just shifting some things around to be able to provide a little different support in our main office and kind of putting things together that are related to each other with attendance as well as accounting for attendance and guidance our finances.
where does this position fall in the org chart?
It will be in the same salary range, and it falls in the same place in our central office. They'll just work a little bit more closely with Rosa. It's not a new position, it's really just replacing that current position that we had as a data support specialist by adding a few more accounting positions to it.
Okay, all those in favor? Is there an F, approved board resolution 2023-01 to tax step for CalPERS member pay contribution IRC 414H2. In order to make CalPERS member pay contribution tax step for the new OPA middle school employees participating in CalPERS, the OPA board of directors approve a resolution to tax step for the contribution. This will create the same tax deficit status for CalPERS contribution to middle school staff as we currently have for OPA SP and OPA SOC staff. It's recommended that the board of directors approve action items F. Motion, please.
Motion.
Okay. This is just, we replicate the same thing as the second. So no more. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna try something here. Can I do G, H, and I as one? Okay, thank you.
Just say that you're doing it for all.
Yes, we'll approve purchase of furniture for OPA, Saddleback Valley, classroom, OPA, SOC classroom, and OPA middle school classroom. As part of the school modernization plan, OPA is completing the purchase of furniture for each school site. The cost of furniture, including student and teacher desks, storage, and other items for Saddleback Valley classrooms is not to exceed $141,036.98. SOC $235,753, sorry, $235,753.17. Middle school, $138,099.36.
I'll make a motion.
This will be paid for from OPA's current reserves as a piggyback contract previously approved by the board. LCAP goal action 3, so LCAP goal 3, action 5. We get the funding source from LCFF, and the budget and financial impact will be a sum total of the 3 numbers I said. This will be reflected as depreciation. Member Jackson, making a motion. Member Charles, I believe, seconded it.
I have not, but I will. And happily will.
And we have to say not to exceed because we're still
Yes.
kind of working with the vendors to try to
Yeah.
reduce them
Yes.
a little bit, but we wanted to make sure that we are able to order as soon as we
Yes. Well, it gives you guys the flexibility to kind of move forward.
So I believe the motion is for G, H, and I. Any discussion?
I have a question, like, where does this place us in terms of modernizing furniture across the board? Will this will complete all 3 school sites
Yes.
for furniture?
Yeah.
Like,
Anything else? Okay, all those in favor?
Right.
Okay, excellent. Excellent use of reserves. Thank you guys for doing
excellent efficiency.
it.
Can we note that as soon as the nighttime alarm went off?
But we should consider adjustments like these when we have 3 campuses. If it's allowed legally, we should. Okay. Item number J, approve revisions to the board policy 3312 contracts. Board policy 3312 was revised to include the requirement of legal review of all contracts that exceed 25,000 prior to board review and approval, with the exception of California multiple award schedule or piggyback goal bid, which may not be altered. LCAP goal 3, action 11A, is recommended the board of directors approve action item J. Have a motion, please. Thank you, Member Smith. I'll second it. Any questions about, I think Ms. Palomino highlighted the changes. This is based on a discussion from last board.
Should this say exceed a total value of 25,000, like if it's a 5,000 a month thing? Just throwing that out there. And if that's the case, we could just have Amy amend her motion.
The total value.
Total value.
I'm done the motion.
I will amend. I will second the amendment. Okay. Anything else? I think we discussed this at finance. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then approve board policy, I don't know, okay, approve board policy 6153 for field trips. Board policy 6153 was created to reflect California Education Code best practices and current procedures regarding field trips. This LCAP goal 1, action 8, and is recommended the board of directors approve action item K. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Any second?
Yeah, I have one more question.
So I have a suggestion first before we do it. I think there's some language that I also had questions about, particularly about non-OPA sponsored trips. So
Yes.
could we defer? Could we work with Dr. Kernan during this next cycle and then bring it up?
So we're tabling this?
Can we? Is that okay? with Dr.
Yeah.
Is there any immediate impact on field trips that are gonna happen?
No, this is, all of our current field trips have already been scheduled, so this would impact field trips for next year.
So do we have a date that we need to send our feedback to? Dr.
So if you want to make sure that it is on the next board meeting, then we have to have that by.
Let's call it before we go on the Memorial Day break. Is that right enough for you, Dr. Kernan?
Yeah, I mean, we really don't need it until the one's next.
But let's say
But-
before we go on Memorial Day,
Yeah,
board members will get your
that's
comments.
3 days.
Is it this week?
Yes.
Great. Then
So,
we can hear
so
what
really,
you-
you can say next Wednesday, because the board agenda will have to be published on Friday, so that would give us time.
Okay.
If you have any questions, and to be able to get into the published board agenda, so if you just say by next Wednesday, that's.
What's interesting, yeah, there's no way, we probably all have very similar questions. Is there a way to make it more efficient?
not really doing this, but.
She wrote the brown act, so. what can we do?
I must get clear for it. Shutting down the conference now.
I know.
Because he heard the alarm go off.
I love that. We need to make that mandatory.
It'll go off every time.
By the way, my phone shuts off at 9:50, that's my bedtime, so. Okay, item number 11, executive director report.
All right, well, I will just kind of reiterate what everyone else has been presenting, just really excited about all of the end of the year activities that are coming up, and all the activities that we have had with our different awards and events on the campuses. It's great that we're finally able to really bring back all of the open traditions. Over the last couple of years with COVID, we've had to kind of scale back on a lot of things. So it's great this year that we've really been able to bring everything back and even add to it with a lot of new things that we've been putting in place this year. Again, testing has gone very well at both of our sites. Our chancellors and Dr. Henry and Ms. Roth have really done a great job of making sure that we are getting all of our students testing, even those students who might be out on independent study or are planning to, kind of leave for vacations before the end of the year, making sure that all of them are able to do their testing and get that all done. It's been super organized and has just gone great. Tech has done a great job of making sure that all of our technology is working and that our students are able to take their tests. So we are, as Adam said, looking forward to hopefully even better scores than the number one scores this year. We can be better than number one plus. So again, we're almost at the end of the year. We have 2 June board meetings coming up, and in those meetings, we will be, in the first meeting, we'll be presenting our LCAPs and our budget. So those are really great meetings, and people are, don't normally come to meetings, but they really want to see what's happening at our school sites. Those 2 pieces of information that will be presented by Ms. Palomino and Dr. Henry give you a huge oversight of everything that we're doing at our school sites over the next year. So, so I encourage everyone to come to our public or watch our public hearing on June 5th, and then those will be brought forward for approval on June 20th. And I just want to thank everybody for coming down to more wake ups. So I just want to thank everybody for amazing school year this year. It's flown by. I can't believe we're already talking about our June board meetings and looking forward to summer. So thank you, everyone, families, staff, especially our students, for such an amazing year.
Thank you, Dr. Kanan. Any comments or questions? Goes straight into director. So I'll go first. Short, thanks again for all the hard work. I know this season is tough because you got to get ready for next year, get ready for summer. Someone was on weeks out, so thank you for the one appeal, just like Dr. Kanan made, appeal to the rest of the community, whoever's listening, that the middle school is going to get done with all of us putting our heads together. And at this point in time, we need all the help we get. And we're building something brand new. And so to the extent that you guys want to be involved, please raise your hand and come because we could use all the help we can. But parents, staff, whoever else. And so, we expect it to be bumpy because it's a new thing to do. But we want everybody to help us make it as best bumpy as possible. Other than that, I'm excited for summer. Hope everybody gets something done.
I would just like to echo what you said, Member Purdue, and also just add a lot of thanks. I know as the year comes to a close, it is a lot of activities at every single grade level to celebrate them, and it's a lot of hard work to get that done. So I would just like to thank everybody for all the work they're doing, as well as pushing into summer and all the unknowns coming up with middle school. But as as a school of choice, we are making a journey to go on that ride, and we know the programming is excellent at OPA, and it will be worth it, even though our physical location may take a while. And with that being said, I'd just like to thank everybody for their patience as we pull it together.
I actually have nothing that I can add to either one of those statements, so I will. And I'm also just gonna say thank you to everyone and.
That's right. Hospitality, thanks for, awesome students that love happening here. And that this is getting so exciting. This middle school thing, this is gonna change everything. And it's gonna change as it pull onto the middle school campus, it's gonna change the dynamic of the existing campuses as well. Because it's all so exciting. Love being part of it. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Thanks for great comments.
One more thing, can we get better chairs if we're gonna keep having 4-hour board meetings?
Yes,
You know, remember that, as soon as I came, I said that to Dr. Henry, I said, these chairs seem different. I have a feeling it's because
They want to
they
go
want us
faster.
to pick up faster. They do seem different. So I was
well,
not
you
the
know,
only
think
one.
ordering all that furniture,
Right.
you know, you might think about, you know, the decor.
We're not as healthy as,
Our school is next, we're gonna have a 1-hour board.
Really stand.
I was seeing yo balls in here.
Item number 13, community input on non-agenda items, public may comment on items not listed on the agenda that are within the legal purview of the board of directors. Public comments, including email comments, will be limited to 3 minutes per comment, with up to 20 minutes of public comment. Do we have any community input on non-agenda items? Okay, we will have to adjourn back to close, but you guys don't have to be polite to us. You guys can be, you should. We are okay. We have free use of fixing empty chairs. We will have to go back into closed session and come back.